Welcome to the San Jose Ranch. We're happy to be able to describe the ranch to you, what our projects are, what we're contemplating as far as a project. Behind us is San Jose Mountain, and that's where the name of San Jose Ranch came from. The ranch as it is now is just west of Naco, and our fence begins a half a mile along the border from Naco and continues down to the riparian area. We have about 10 miles of fence, and it's kind of a unique ranch. It's not a real large ranch compared to ranches in this area. We have about 14,000 acres, but it's unique in the sense that we have 10 miles of border fence. It's a long, narrow branch. While we're here, I just wanted to talk about the two ways of brush control. Here at the San Jose Ranch, we've done a lot of brush control throughout the years. We started in 1967, as a matter of fact. Over that period of time, we've done pretty near 6,000 acres of brush control. The other way of doing it, and we'll get into this a little later on, but right now, the second way of brush control, and we just tried that lately. We just did 800 acres with a chemical means, and it's chemical pellets that are flown on by airplanes, and the pellets just lay on the ground until it rains, and then the chemical affects the root system of the brush. Now, that doesn't work for mesquite, and that's why we've done so much mechanical treatment, because the main part of what we treat has been mesquite, and you have to actually physically remove the mesquite before you can control it. So anyway, the two ways of doing it are both effective, and they're both actually, the chemical is probably a little cheaper than mechanical, because you can have it flown on, and you can buy the chemical and have it flown on for about $50 an acre. With the mechanical, you're looking at, depending on the terrain and the kind of brush you're dealing with, it might run on from anywhere from $150 to $250 an acre. So it's not cheap, and that's why it's taken us 35 years to do 6,000 acres. We can't do very much at a time. So the way that we're able to do it now is through the help from the Natural Resource Conservation Service, Department of Agriculture, and that's been a big help, and that's what's helped all of us ranchers and people who are engaged in trying to better our environment and do away with a lot of the brush, enhance the water percolation into our aquifers, stop erosion, and we're doing all of those things. All of those things are accomplished through these kind of means, and that's what we're doing. We used to reseed through air seeding. We'd have an airplane come in, and actually they were kind of a crop duster plane, and they applied the seed. But I've got one step further now, and I've got a seeder mounted right on the bulldozer, and the seeder is electrically controlled, and it just automatically puts the seed out as I knife the ground. With respect to getting cattle back on it, under our contract with the Department of Natural Resource Service, we have to wait 2 years before, 2 growing seasons before we put cattle on it, and then in some cases the grass comes up right away. If we have a good rainy season, it's surprising how fast the grass comes in. Of course, the ground is all ripped up, it's torn up, and the seed is ready to go, and it all depends on the rain. Well, I can show you some of the areas that we knifed in 1967, and there is the brush coming back. There's no question that the brush will come back as time goes on, but when we originally knifed it, there wasn't any grass. There was just brush. And now, with the brush returning, I'd say that it's maybe 50% back into brush, but we still have a lot of grass intermingled with the brush.
Let's go over and take a look at that knife blade right now.
What I just did was demonstrate how it worked. Now, actually, this, where I demonstrated, this has already been root plowed under the contract we just have. But I just wanted to show you how it works, how the knife goes down into the ground, can go down any depth you want, up to a couple of feet. And generally you don't have to go that deep to get the roots. With the brush like we have here, probably 12 inches is sufficient because these are shallow rooted plants. With mesquite it's a little different, you have to go deeper, but that's what we do. And the knife itself, or root plow, it wears out pretty fast depending on what kind of soil you're in. In some cases, where you're in silicious soil, it wears out the cutting edges pretty fast, and you're busy replacing those. And all of that expense adds up, and that's why it costs anywhere up to $250 an acre.
This has been knifed, and this has not been knifed.
Okay, what we're looking at is the result of the knifing or root plowing that went on about 10 years ago. You can see that there's a little mesquite coming back, but along with that there's grass. Now, right now is a bad time because we're in the middle of a drought, the rains haven't started. The grass really isn't that apparent. In a couple of weeks it'll start getting green and we'll see a lot of grass. But essentially there is a lot of grass in this pasture that wasn't here before, and that's as a result of our mechanical treatment. At this point, there isn't any chemical like spike that would actually and effectively treat mesquite. So that's why we use a mechanical treatment. And prior to the treatment, there was a lot of mesquite in here, but not much grass. Now, there's a lot of grass and a little bit of mesquite. Mesquite comes back, there's no question about that. We can't eliminate it forever, but it's coming back and we can control it. But the main thing is that the grass is still here, which allows the water to get into the aquifer. It prevents a lot of runoff, and it's a big benefit to everybody, not only for the environment, but for us economically for our cattle. And it's good cattle feed, and that's what we need. It's a two-way benefit, economic and environmental. In this pasture, we root plowed about 3 years ago. It was astonishing. Prior to the mechanical treatment, there absolutely was no grass in here. And once we started the treatment and eliminated the mesquite, the grass just came in like crazy. And it was a great experience, and you can't believe what a good feeling you have after you do this kind of treatment, and you get a good rain, and the grass comes in so luxurious as it has. Again, because of the drought, because of the time of year, there just isn't much grass apparent, but in a couple of weeks after we get a rain, the grass is just all over, and everything turns green, and at this point there's very little mesquite. We can anticipate that as time goes on there will be mesquite returning, but at the same time they'll still have the grass, which again holds the soil together, prevents the runoff, and it allows the recharge of the aquifer. We're looking at a clump of mesquite that on this pasture that we treated 3 years ago, and what I want to give you an idea of is kind of a before and after. This clump of mesquite we left because we wanted to have a place for cattle to lay up, and it provides a lot of shelter. But at the same time, it's very thick, and we could hardly ride a horse through it in the past. And this whole area was almost as heavy as this clump of mesquite. And so it's just kind of a before and after to show you what we have done with the mechanical treatment and the result of it. The result is very satisfying. And but the clump is still here, and the clump is only, I think it was about 10 acres to just reserve a place for cattle shade and shelter. What we're looking at right now is something that I turned up maybe 6 months ago, and we had one little shower since then, and you can see that there's green grass getting started already. All you need to do is have some loose soil and some rainwater. That's the main ingredient, is having some rain. But the green grass is just lurking there, ready to come up. At the same time, we became aware of what we were doing to make the ranch more productive was also improving the environment. And so that's another big factor that we want to continue doing.